going on, world? This is G. Dot of MMAJones.com. Here with the video about Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo Jr. going into UFC 194. Now, it's only a couple weeks out. You know, the MMA gods so far have smiled upon us by everything still being intact as far as this fight goes, and everything is still going to plan. Knock on wood. And that's real wood I just knocked on. So hopefully everything goes as planned. But I wanted to talk about some developments going into this fight. I know this isn't a fight prediction video per se. I'll be making those videos in the days to come or weeks to come or whatever before the event actually happens. But I wanted to talk about Conor McGregor versus Jose Aldo and the mentality of the fighters going into this event. Now, obviously, they've been waiting for a while. Jose hurt his rib. He wasn't able to show the first time. And, Chad Mendes stood in his place. And, a lot of people wanted that fight to be something that it wasn't. It just wasn't. And, a lot of the Conor fanboys, which, you guys are MMA fans too, and that's fine. I like Conor McGregor. I'm not a Conor hater. Could I do without some of the WWE shit? Yeah, but he does it to feed his family, and he's a showman in order to boost the numbers, and you can't hate on that. That's just fucking business. A lot of that shit is not really him. I think deep down he's really he's confident, but he's really a humble guy. A lot of that stuff is for the emotional draw, because emotions sell fucking pay-per-views. But, the fight against Chad Mendes was not the fucking end-all, be-all fight. It wasn't the, I knew Chad Mendes was going to have success, but, as much as people want to say, oh, well, he doesn't get ready, he stays ready, or whatever the fuck, he only had a couple weeks to prep. He was doing it for a check. And he probably cashed out. Or he did cash out. But, Conor McGregor, we heard him say a couple things, and he alluded to earlier when he was supposed to face Jose earlier this year. He was talking about that Jose was looking for a way out. He was having problems in his camp, and the tour and shit was kind of wearing on him, and being in front of a guy that you really don't like every fucking day or every fucking week or however, the whole entirety of the tour. He made reference to the old gorilla gets old and brittle, and the young gorilla comes up from behind him and kills him and takes everything he owns. That does happen. There is a degree of truth to that, but at first I'm like, and I still am, and this is not a fight prediction video, but I will say, I don't think Conor McGregor has what it takes to take Jose Aldo out. I just don't. All this, I'm going to finish him shit, and you have to look at Jose Aldo's resume. Yeah, he's let it go to the cards a few times, but, he hasn't lost in a long motherfucking time, and he's went through murderer's row. Jose Aldo's resume is about as solid in the world of MMA as it fucking gets. Alright? So, I don't believe that Conor McGregor does not respect Jose Aldo. He's not going to go in there and fucking act an ass, because he knows them leg kicks are coming and everything else. And we've obviously seen you on the ground with a wrestler. And, Jose Aldo is a motherfucking beast. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, ground game amazing, stand-up game amazing, striking, all of that shit. He's athletic as fuck, lungs. The whole package. But, as of late, when Jose Aldo, when he declined the fight and he said that he wasn't doing it for a paycheck, because everybody was like, well, just go in there and get paid. Fuck a rib. Fuck a bruised rib or broken rib or whatever it was. And Jose released a statement publicly saying it's not about the fucking check, it's about the legacy. That's something that we all expected Jose Aldo to say. As MMA fans, and, it's just something that we've come to know, we've come to expect from Jose Aldo, being that he is a traditional mixed martial artists. And when I say traditional, I mean, honor, respect, hard work ethic, still waters run deep type of, that kind of demeanor. But he stuck with that, and we bought it. I bought it. You know what I'm saying? But after Ronda Rousey got knocked out, and he gave a press conference, I don't know if it was a UFC press conference or what it was. Jose Aldo said that, he was asked if Ronda Rousey is going to return to the sport of MMA, and he was like, well, I don't know if I would return, because if I'm getting offered millions and millions of dollars to be in movies, I'd rather do that than get, have a job while I'm getting punched in the face. And when I saw that shit, I was like, wait a minute. Like, at first I didn't want to believe that what Conor McGregor was saying when he was talking about Jose Aldo was looking for a way out. But when you start giving answers like that, that is 180 degrees opposite of you saying, oh, it's about legacy, it ain't about a paycheck. And now you're saying it is about a paycheck, and if you can avoid being punched in the face, it sounds to me like you wouldn't even show up if you got a movie deal, you wouldn't show up to fight Conor McGregor to unify the belt one way or the other. And that's not language we've come to expect out of Jose Aldo Jr. by a long shot. That doesn't sound like the guy who's been running through motherfuckers for 10 years. It doesn't sound like the guy who's ran through Murderer's Row. And, I have nothing but respect for Jose Aldo. I mean, goddamn, like I said, his resume is thorough as fuck. But that when you say shit like that, it's almost seeming to me like Conor McGregor does have some kind of mental edge, because why would you say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're the granddad of the featherweight division. Like, it just didn't make sense to me at all. And a couple of MMA blogs caught that shit, but they didn't really make too much of it, because I don't know what it is, but it seems like in the MMA world, especially like with MMA media in particular, like they have a short memory when it comes to certain shit. And when it was just a couple months ago, Jose was talking about it's about his legacy, and his legacy is cemented. I mean, there's no debating that. But it is about a check too. He went as far as to say, like, oh, if you're chasing money, it's like a shadow, and you have to do what you love. I mean, he was saying that for the kids, but he was like, it ain't about the money, it's doing what you love, and the money will follow you, and you can't reach for the shadow or catch up to it, or something to that effect. So it made it seem like it's about the art and it's not about the money. And then he gives an interview stressing the fact that if he was getting movie deals, which he's not really marketable in America because he won't learn English. And that's his business, you know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if he ever learns a word of English, to be honest with you. What he does in the octagon is enough. But, you're not marketable here. You're not going to get movie deals here. And if you're starting to consider it, like, damn it, maybe I should have learned English, and maybe well, you can't really say that. You can't really talk out of two sides of your mouth and say that. But like I said, I have the utmost respect for Jose Aldo, but it seems to me like at first I was, about 95% Aldo was going to win this fight against Conor McGregor. But now it's turned into like 80-20%, and that's still overwhelming odds that Jose Aldo is going to win. But maybe the old gorilla is starting to break down. Maybe it is time. Conor did predict a lot of shit. He said, I predict these things. He talked about TJ Dillashaw and Team Alpha Male and shit. Look what happened. He talked about Chad Mendes. Look what happened. He talked about a couple other fights, or, in octagon things, outside of octagon things, and things tend to unfold how Conor tells it. Not maybe to a T, but I'm just saying. That Jose Aldo that gave that interview when he was talking about how much money all of a sudden means to him now that he's only a couple weeks out of fighting Conor. You know what I'm saying? It seemed a little suspect to me. I don't know. I don't know if anybody else out there kind of picked that up, but You know, I'm like 80% Aldo, 20% Conor, but you know anybody has a puncher's chance in there, and you know maybe the pressure has gotten to Aldo, and I would hate to see, you know, I just want to see a good fight. I want to see the best man win. You know, I don't want to hear about who was injured and shit. You know, they all go in there banged up, but you know, this we'll know how things are the closer we get to the fight when the embedded start dropping and everything else. We'll start getting a feel for the fighter's mentality, and sometimes you can just feel out what is going to happen. Like sometimes you don't want it to be that way. Sometimes you don't. You want it to be your guy that's the most confident going in there. But you know when they start with the you know having the media events and then the weigh in, you start to get a feel for who is starting to break down and who is already looking beat before they even get in there. But tell me what you think. I mean, do you think Aldo is starting to show signs of being an old brittle gorilla, or you know, is Conor right, or is he just, or is Aldo just playing possum and talking shit in the media? Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, dislike, do whatever you got to do. MMAJones.com.